Don't make this car mistake, guys. Are you thinking about getting a new car but don't want to fall for the ridiculous trap of a $1,000 car payment? Yeah, guys, we're there. Check it out.
We are the Motor City, no doubt about that. Cars, vehicles, it's a way of life. But when you look at the numbers that Edmunds crunched and you look at your pocketbook, you may not be feeling so great about that next purchase.
I just couldn't buy a car. I'd buy a used car. I would have to, or I'd just keep driving this thing.
That's June Lester's answer to the $1,000 question, quite literally. Would you pay $1,000 a month or more for a new car if you had to? Turns out a record number of car buyers are doing just that.
I think I paid $400 a month for, and that was ridiculous. And I'm retired now, not sort of retired, and there's no way. I mean, and I don't even drive. I mean, I've got 20,000 miles on this car, and it's 4 years old, so I couldn't afford that.
Edmunds crunched some numbers for the first quarter of 2023 auto sales and found nearly 17% of buyers shelling out $1,000 or more for a monthly car note, not including the cost of insurance. That's up from a little over 4% just 4 years ago. $1,000 a month, what do you think?
No, I already pay $400 now, and I just think that's astronomical. So I couldn't imagine paying $1,000. The cost of living has gone up. Rent has gone up. I couldn't imagine adding my $1,000 I already pay for rent on top of a $1,000 car. It just doesn't make sense.
Can you imagine saying yes to a $1,000 car payment? That's just crazy if you ask me, especially when if you wait just a little bit longer, prices are bound to probably start coming down, maybe even plummet after inflation and the Fed funds rate actually kicks in. Already, we're seeing repo rates climb up. So yeah, you could probably get a way better deal if you just wait just a little bit. But like I always say, guys, I got your back. I'm gonna give you guys the lowdown on everything that's been going down on vehicle prices, from new cars to used cars and even EVs. So I'm gonna tell you guys exactly what's up and what you can expect, so make sure you stick around for this video. Auto loan borrowers are having a very tough time with bigger car payments, but don't sweat it. We're gonna share some tips on how to avoid getting stuck in that situation. Also, for the best way to invest in gold or silver, check out the links in the description down below this video. So for the first time in like forever, well, 20 months to be exact, the average price of a new car has fallen below MSRP. Finally, right? I mean, it's about time. So here's the deal. The average car sales price is now $171 less than MSRP. Now, I know it's not a huge discount or a huge amount less than MSRP, but at least it's a step in the right direction, right? Now, just to give you guys some perspective, just 12 months ago, people were paying on average $1,000 more than the sticker price for a car. I mean, can you believe that? Now, I know some of you guys out there got hit pretty hard with these crazy high prices. Now, as for me being a millennial and all, I'm used to trying to haggle down the price whenever I buy a car. You know how it goes, right? I pretend like the price that he gives me is insulting, and then I do the whole I'm gonna walk out routine. Then the salesperson goes off to talk to their manager behind closed doors. Then he comes back with the best deal of the day that they could possibly offer me. And when they can't go any lower, I try to get some extra perks thrown in, like free floor mats or something like that, maybe even an extended warranty. But for the past 2 years, the whole process was pretty much extinct because cars were selling way above sticker price. It was basically just pointless to try and negotiate. But now we can go back to the good old days of bargaining. So what do you guys think? How much do you think that you could talk them down on MSRP right now? So here's a story I got from one of you guys recently. We bought a new Honda in January. The dealership had it listed at MSRP on their website. But when they brought the invoice to us, it was $4,000 above MSRP because they had added a package to it. However, they never updated the advertised price on their website. So I pulled up the website, showed them the VIN number and the advertised price, and asked them to remove the upgrades and sell it to me at sticker. They ended up selling it to us at MSRP plus $895, which was their cost for the upgrades. I'm really glad I checked the website before going in. Now, this is a story that I got from one of you guys. Do you guys have any more deals to tell me about? Hit me up in the comments down below. I would love to hear about them. Now, one guy I know, what he does is whenever he hears a salesperson say, let me talk to my manager about that, he always says, does your manager not trust you to negotiate by yourself? He always gets them. So yeah, back to my question. How much do you think that you could talk them down on MSRP right now on a new car? Well, it really depends on the brand of car. So Chevy, Chrysler, Dodge, Ford, Nissan, and Volkswagen, they saw a decline in March with some brands dropping up to 3.8% in price. But Honda and Kia, they are still selling 3 to 6% above sticker. So don't even try to hardball at those dealerships. You're not gonna fool them into thinking that they need your business, because right now they kind of don't really need our business. But the good news is that the average selling price of a new car has been cooling down. In December, it was $49,507, and in January, it was $49,388. In February, it was $48,558, and in March, it was $48,800. So basically, it's come down about $1,500 in about 3 months, which is like $500 a month. Now, it's nice to see a little bit of relief, but let's be real, guys. Cars are still crazy expensive. The average new car is still up $1,800 compared to last year. And according to J.D. Power and Associates car research website, the average transaction price is $13,000 higher than it was back in 2019. And with interest rates going up, monthly payments are going to get pushed to record levels. But here's the crazy thing. Even though people are feeling the financial strain, they're still buying cars. The Bureau of Economics reports that in the first quarter of the year, new car vehicles, they were 3.68 million. Now, this is an 11.7% increase compared to last year. But if you compare it to the pre-pandemic levels, sales are still down 7% from Q1 of 2019. But hey, check this out. Some experts are saying that we might be in for a price war when it comes to cars. So apparently there's going to be too many cars made this year, like 6% more than what people are actually buying, which means there's going to be like 5 million more cars just chilling on the car lots, not getting bought. So to get them sold, the dealers may have to just start slashing prices again. But this is likely not going to happen until the end of 2023. But you know what they say, it's better to be prepared. So some car makers are already getting ready for the price war, and some of them that make electric cars are already cutting their prices. So the experts are saying that the makers of family cars might be the ones that suffer the most from these price cuts, while the fancy luxury car brands like Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, they might not get hit as hard. And let's not forget about the electric car companies, because with energy prices skyrocketing, it might be kind of tough for them to keep up with their high prices. So Tesla already lowered their prices by up to $10,000 in the UK earlier this year. And now some of their cheaper cars are in the same price range as brands like Kia. But even with all of the talk of lower prices, the truth is that the car prices are still pretty high compared to where they were before the pandemic. I mean, the latest car stats show that used car prices in March were 2.4% lower than they were a year ago, and new car prices have been dropping for the last 3 months. But even with all of this, car prices are still super high when you look at the big picture. So they could definitely still go down by the latter half of the year. Now, I want to talk about the inventory of new cars at the end of each month. So right now, we're looking at about 1.8 million. And this is a lot better than the lows that we saw back in 2021 when it was under 1 million. But we're still not quite up to the pre-pandemic level of 3.5 to 4 million. So while things are improving, don't expect to haggle too much on the price. Now, moving on to used cars, it's a little bit trickier. Resale values can be tough to predict, and the supply and demand situation, it's a little bit less certain. But I'm gonna give you guys a quick rundown on what's going on. Now, if you read the graph of values of used cars that's adjusted for seasonal changes, you can see that the prices were at their highest in December of last year, but since then they've gone down to about 15%. However, if you look closely, you will notice that the drop in prices is starting to slow down a lot. In fact, in March, prices even went up a tiny bit. And get this, dealers are now paying more to get their hands on used cars to put on their lots. The way people are reading this is that the fall in used car prices might be ending soon. Basically, they're expecting that prices will stay pretty steady over the next few months. They might go up a bit or down a bit, but it's not looking like they're going to be a huge crash or anything. That's what the people over at Cox Automotive are saying anyway. So now let's talk about the used car market. So there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that used car prices, they're not going to fall like crazy anytime soon. Now, the bad news is that it's still not a great time to buy a used car. The supply of used cars is pretty tight, which means that there aren't many of them available for sale. And on the demand side, people aren't getting as much money back from their tax refunds this year. And interest rates on auto loans, they're pretty high. So even if you're in the market for a used car, you might be pretty shocked when you see exactly how much you're going to have to pay every single month. Oh, and just to give you guys an idea of how tight the supply is, in March, there were only enough used cars available to last 38 days. This is down from 43 days in February and 47 days from a year ago. So yeah, it's not a great time to be shopping for a used car. So yeah, let me go ahead and fill you guys in on something. So I talked to some sales reps and it looks like they're not budging on the price right now. It's the sticker price or nothing. I know, it sucks, but they're saying that the demand is still too high and supplies are tight. So if you don't take it, somebody else will. But don't beat yourself up about it. A lot of people are going through the same thing, trying to get a car in this crazy market. I would hate to be shopping for a car right now. Now, you can still try and negotiate with some brands and models, but it's kind of like the Wild Wild West out there, especially when it comes to used cars. Now, on a different note, have you thought about getting an EV? I'm not talking about the environmental benefits, but sure, charging can be a pain, especially if you don't have easy access to an outlet for long periods of time, but there are other benefits if you look carefully. But what about you guys? Any car tips to share with anybody? Our comment section is always wide open. I'm telling you guys, we as customers, we hold so much power. If everybody could just agree to not buy a car for a good 2 to 3 months, or at least agree not to pay over a certain amount for the vehicle, the dealers would have no choice but to sell at that lower price. They hold the power because if you won't pay the price, they know someone will come in and they will purchase. So anyway, just something to think about for your financial education 101 today. But for now, that was our car sales update and daily news report. The car market about to hit a slump this year, car payments reaching ridiculous prices, $1,000 and up, and my own thoughts on this whole matter. Appreciate you guys dropping by. Appreciate you also hitting the like button. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Be safe.